What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Man, did some fun stuff happen yesterday, and I think you guys already know what I'm talking about. You saw the title. That's right. Mega Man is back, and it's coming back in a big way anyway, 2018. He's not back yet, I guess you could say. At least the announcement is. But it looks like 2018 is going to be awesome for Mega Man fans, whether you're an X fan like I am or a regular Mega Man fan. I still like Mega Man, but I've always said that the X series is really the thing I liked about Mega Man. But let's talk about this live stream, and then we have a few other things today to talk about, including the Monster Hunter Worlds beta getting outlined pretty well. So let's get started. Now, if you joined me for the live stream for Mega Man, we kind of watched it, and I think going into it, myself and others included, we're kind of worried that it wouldn't live up to the expectation, especially the hype that Capcom was building at the time. And some still argue it didn't, but I think for what we were expecting from Capcom, which is a company that's very much known for just porting stuff right now, it was great to see a new original game show up. And while it's not technically original because it's using the Mega Man series, I mean, it is the 11th game, it's still not just a port. Now, they're also porting the X games, which we'll get to in a second. But let's start with Mega Man 11. It was a very, very cool setup. They had Mega Man running through levels, going through all the different Mega Man games. I'm talking about everything, guys. We're talking about like Mega Man Battle Network, all the way back from Mega Man 1 up to X. To 0. They ran through ZX, and they went through everything pretty much. They kind of just ran along and like, oh, look at all the Mega Man games. We're gonna go through everything. Star Force, and then they get to this like question mark block, basically question mark ball, and then he runs into it for 2018, and bam, drops right into what looks kind of like the 2D, 3D artwork sort of for Mega Man 11. And man, I personally think it looks awesome. So while we don't know a ton of stuff about Mega Man 11 yet, in fact, according to them, more information is coming next summer, 2018, and then it's scheduled for a late 2018 release date. No time on anything really, we just know it's the second half of 2018. Late tells me November, maybe a December release. All I know right now is it is probably less than a year away. So I think November is a good time for it to come out, but they might push it to December. They had no problem telling us about it in December, right? So yeah, it could be a December release. But we go through this really cool looking trailer, shows us, I like this art style a lot, by the way. I think it's more modernized. I think they did a good job updating it. They had the developers and the artists and everything kind of talk to us in a very, I guess, more like a behind the scenes look. Something you feel like you'd get on like a Blu-ray or a disc if you buy a special edition. They went through all this stuff, concept art and everything. In fact, if there's more of those interviews that they left out and they include it in a special edition, I would love to buy it because that was really interesting to me. They talked about their favorite robot masters, and they picked ones you wouldn't expect. Things like Top Man, for example, and Gravity Man. Ones that most people wouldn't pick, right? Like, a lot of people pick like Cut Man and Guts Man and, you know, the basics. But they went kind of out there and picked out some, and then they explained why, even down to the expression that Top Man has in some of the concept art. Just really made him appreciate that robot master. So it was pretty fun. And if you didn't see it, I believe it's up on their Twitter video on demand, I believe. Otherwise, they at least put the trailers up on the Capcom YouTube. Now, they also talked about Mega Man X to a degree, and the wording is weird here, by the way. When we first saw it, I was pretty sure that they were introducing the Mega Man X collection as I made it known on the stream. I was like, oh, cool. You know, Mega Man X collection, Kotaku, all these other places start popping up. X collection coming to all systems. By the way, everything I'm talking about here today is on the PS4, the Xbox One, the PC, and the Nintendo Switch. That's right, Capcom seems to be going full on with Mega Man on the Switch. I know they've been criticized for their Switch support, not with Mega Man. Everything's showing up, including the Legacy Collection, which we'll get to soon. But the X games are all going to all the different systems, and this includes the first X all the way up to X8. So yes, X7 and X8, two PS2 games, are going to all systems. Again, PS4, Xbox One, the PC, and the Nintendo Switch. Those are going to be really cool, but we're kind of left with this question mark, and they said more information is going to be coming. Is this a collection? Or are they going to try to sell all of these separately for $5, $10, $15? I don't know if you can get $15 for X7 or X8, but are they going to be selling them for $5, $10 a piece? Or are they going to try to jam them all into one collection? Or maybe they're going to do two collections like they do with the Legacy Collection for Mega Man? It's hard to say. I personally would love to see it all in one shot, right? 8 games, all on one disc, one cartridge, one download, you know, all redone. The PS2 version is much better looking, you know, frame rate, and smooth it out for really higher resolutions. Maybe they even get to 4K with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. I have a feeling, though, it's going to be broken into at least 2 games. And I say at least because they could just sell them all separately. So again, my hope overall is that we get one for, even if it's $60, I mean, it's still 8 games and you're still going to get your time out of it. But we'll see. Hopefully it's not some, hopefully they don't sell them all 8 separately. I wouldn't like that. Just give me all of them in one shot. And next year, they're also bringing Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 to the Nintendo Switch. They also talked about it a little bit in depth why it wasn't there right away, and simply put, while they were developing it for the other systems, the Switch kind of showed up. So it took a little longer to get it all done. I think a lot of us thought it was really weird that the Legacy Collection, something that seemed to be running, I think, on Unity, rebuilt and everything for that, wasn't there for the Switch. But yes, it's coming next year. All of these games that we've just talked about, whether it's the X games or Mega Man 11 or the Legacy Collections for the Switch, they're all coming next year. Nothing's showing up in December, as I really wouldn't expect it. We're 3 weeks or so, from 2018. So yeah, everything's coming in 2018. We just don't know when. I assume it's going to go something like the X games come out, even if they're a staggered release, they'll be out first. The Legacy Collections will come to the Switch, and then we'll get to Mega Man 11, if I had to take a guess on timetable. It was very interesting also to note, real quick, Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch apparently is going to have a form of amiibo support. We don't know what, we know there's a Mega Man amiibo, obviously, but we don't know if like Mario or any of the Nintendo ones will be used. But yeah, there will be amiibo support in some way. Again, according to them, more information will be coming probably next year at some point. And then finally, we were treated to a Game Informer special cover, and it looks great. It has all the different Mega Man designs that I could tell they were all there on the cover. It's great. I'll be getting it in the mail soon because I am signed up for Game Informer and I get every month. But here's the interesting thing. I remember a little while ago we were talking to, I wish I could remember his name, but the editor for Game Informer who runs the whole thing, and we saw them on Twitter talking about a reveal that's going to be one of their magazine covers coming up. I think they even said December. Well, there you go. It's Mega Man 11. So that was what it was. Well, I remember we were kind of thinking maybe it's Rocksteady's Superman game or whatever game they're working on if it's not Superman. Nope, it's Mega Man 11, and it looks great. So when that comes in, I'm probably going to cut the cover off. Apparently there's more information there. I'll read through that too. I'm going to cut the cover off and probably hang it up somewhere because it looks pretty good, I think. But overall, that was the whole stream. It was a lot of fun. I gotta say, Capcom, you actually delivered. You didn't disappoint me. I have a brand new Mega Man game to look forward to in 2018, even on the Nintendo Switch, which I'll probably get on the Switch because it doesn't look like the visual style will really be that much different other than 4K resolution on something like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. I'd prefer to have that Mega Man game portably if I can, so I'll probably pick it up on the Switch over the other versions, and I'll probably get the X Collection the same way, again, just because of portability, and I just love the different Mega Man X games, and I'll be playing through all of them again, and I'll revisit X8 because that's the one that kind of escapes me more than the others, because that was like towards the end of the PS2 lifespan, I think, and it wasn't super well. People didn't like it as much, but other people have said it was okay. I'll probably revisit that when that comes out as well, just to see how it turned out. Also, real quick, after that, Tiny Metal got a release date. Remember, we've talked about this. It's fallen under this really weird controversy where they were embezzling money or something allegedly. Who knows about all of that behind the scenes stuff? What I can tell you is Sony Unties did send out a press release, and it is coming December 21st to all systems, the PS4, the Switch, and the PC. So no Xbox One release from what I've seen, but it's coming to those systems December 21st. And well, again, I did a whole video on it, right? You saw the gameplay. It looks kind of like Advanced Wars to a degree. I thought it was fun, and I probably will get it just to try it out, and we'll do a whole gameplay video on the full game, see if it's changed at all. Next up, let's talk about the Monster Hunter World beta. So we knew a little while ago that there would be a beta after they announced it, but no real details or anything. And now we know you'll be able to download it December 8th. It's going to take up about 5.9 gigabytes, so about 6 gigabytes on your hard drive, and you have to be a PlayStation Plus member to download it and participate in the beta. So make sure you sign up for at least a month if you just want to try it out. And it's going to run all the way to Tuesday. So you're going to have a good bit of time to try it out. Now, they did detail really what it will include. It's going to feature 3 quests across 2 environments from the game. You have the Ancient Forest. You can hunt a fierce, yet beginner-friendly, as they say in the press release, great Jagras, or as a more experienced player, confront the mighty threat of an Anjanath. Man, they really hit us with some names in these press releases sometimes, I'm telling you. Overall, I think this will be a good way to try the game out, because there are some people who still aren't really sold on the game. But if we get to have a free, it'd be free, you gotta be a PlayStation Plus member. A lot of people who want to play online with the PlayStation 4 are. It'll at least give us a look into it. Again, I'll check it out and do a video on it, and we can see how it controls, how the quests run, and really, I guess, how everything looks on screen. Next up, I want to talk to you guys about a little bit of retro news here. So, obviously, we know Resident Evil as a name really debuted on the PlayStation system. But what if I told you it was originally supposed to be on the Super Nintendo? And this was in a recent interview with Game Informer where Koji Ata actually talked a little bit about really the beginnings of Resident Evil, and, well, it was supposed to be on the Super Nintendo. And this is directly from that interview. Mr. Ota said, "Honestly, I feel like I joined the game industry at the best time. Typically, games would take half a year and no longer than a year to develop, so I feel like I was able to take part in a lot of different projects. It's not that well known, but before Resident Evil went to the PlayStation, I was working on it for the Super NES." Now he goes on to say it was pretty much a sequel to the NES classic. A lot of people know about this game to a degree. It was kind of a cult hit at Sweet Home on the NES. I remember when I did a lot of Nintendo repros, that was one of the ones that people really wanted. Again, it's kind of like, it's a horror style game that was pretty much the prequel, essentially spiritual prequel to Resident Evil. And according to them, they were kind of working with limited hard drive space, as they say. I would really more say mask ROMs, just basically limited space for the game in general. And if they did finish it on the Super Nintendo, it would look considerably different than what we saw on the PlayStation 1. I don't think there's much argument there. It probably would have been a top-down 16-bit style game. But it's very interesting to see that it was at least planned for the Super Nintendo, and they did make the jump to the PlayStation because there was more potential, and they could fit more on those CDs. So to them, I guess their imagination could run wild with the PlayStation, whereas it probably would have been a little contained with the Super Nintendo. Oh, also, make sure you're keeping an eye on the Game Awards that are coming out Thursday night. If you're not already subscribed, just subscribe and get ready because I'm going to be streaming it. That's Thursday night starting at 8:30. 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. They'll probably do something from 8 on, but I'll be streaming right away because Nintendo has now retweeted and pretty much made mention of this Game Awards show a lot recently. So I feel like there will be some sort of debut there, and I'm thinking it's the Zelda DLC pack, the big one everyone's waiting for, the story-driven pack. So keep an eye on this. I think we're going to see something from them. I mean, it could be anything else. It could be, people said Metroid. I don't know if they're going to show Metroid there, but I mean, we saw Zelda there last year before it was out, when that was, you know, one of the hottest searched games at the time for more information. They showed it at the Game Awards, so who knows at this point? I don't think they're just retweeting and talking about this thing because they're going to win some awards. I think they want a lot of eyeballs on it because they're going to be showing something, so keep an eye out for that. In our last bit of news, let's talk a little bit about Xenoblade 2. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has been a game I've been playing. I've been enjoying it, but there was one thing I noticed when I'm playing it in handheld mode. It seems to drop in resolution pretty low. Like, it's very noticeable, and I would always look at that and I'd say, I wonder what resolution this is dropping to look that blurry or really that... See, the thing about the game that was, I think was pretty clever was that they render the text at the native resolution that you're basically playing at, so it never looks blurry for the text. It's just the game and the environments can. Well, Digital Foundry did a full analysis on it, as we would expect them to do. They found some pretty interesting results. Now, according to them, in docked mode, runs at 720p. I've never had a problem in docked mode. I think it looks fine in docked mode. There are frame rate issues at times. They even found this weird bug where if you run out into the field and then you run back into town, the frame rate will just drop to like the mid to low 20s. But then if they restart their game, like, you know, exit all the way out, come back in, it then fixes the issue. That might be something to do with a memory bug of some kind, as they were saying. But they look at the docked mode, and the resolution dynamically drops pretty low. Like, according to them, from what they've said, it's one of the worst. It probably is the worst from what they've said in terms of image quality in docked mode. It drops at times all the way down to 368p. That's people on YouTube occasionally will complain about 360p. Well, that version is very close to that, and it had me thinking. Maybe Nintendo will play around with some of the clock speeds, or maybe this is a game that will see improvement over time as they do patches and stuff. But man, it is a game that I notice when a massive difference between its docked and undocked. It really is. If you're playing undocked and maybe you're a person who just plays it in handheld mode, go drop it on your TV just to see the difference, because that is a game that is seriously night and day from handheld when you're playing to being in docked mode. I really hope Nintendo and Monolith can figure something out with the patch just to kind of clean up handheld. I mean, seriously, even a jump to like 540p or something at the lowest would be massive compared to what we get sometimes. Now, it wasn't all bad. They also talked about how the cloud simulation was really cool, and I agree at times when I'm looking over at like the clouds, because you're up in the clouds, as we've seen in the trailers and everything. It moves, and they move naturally. It's pretty cool. They did a whole time lapse, and it looked really good. It looked real. It's almost a little jarring how realistic some of that looks. And then the lighting effects are very good. You see some very nice lighting effects and shine on the ground texture stuff when you move around. So it's not all bad. It seems to be really just centered around that resolution drop that just takes place. I feel like that could be fixable. I just will have to wait and see if they can come up with anything to kind of patch that out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, guys. I'm so excited for Mega Man in general, making a big return in 2018. Capcom seems to be fully on board with it. I mean, all the X games are coming back. I like Mega Man X3 a lot. I'm one of the weird ones, I know. A lot of people don't like X3. A lot of people liked X4. Or the original one's great. If you missed out on any of them, go play them when they come out. It's so worth it. And of course, we're all going to look forward to Mega Man 11 when that comes out sometime late next year. But let me know what you guys thought about the entire Capcom stream. Were you excited for Mega Man? Are you getting the different X games? Are you getting the Legacy Collection on the Switch? I need to know, guys. Seriously, I'm a big Mega Man fan. I want to know from the other Mega Man fans where you fall on this. And then also let me know what you think about the Monster Hunter beta. Are you joining? Are you going to be trying it out? And then, of course, the Game Awards are you going to be watching. And do you think Nintendo has something up their sleeve for it? I personally do. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.